So I used to be really into this game called Armada Girls. Now, if you haven't heard of that game, that's understandable, because not only was this game hardly advertised, but G123 itself doesn't seem to be very known. But G123 is this Japanese publisher that makes cross-platform games. The most popular one on there is Queen's Blade, which is an ecchi game. Sometimes it feels like this game was a fever dream because it kind of just vanished into thin air. And sometimes I forget, like, you know, it's like, oh, am I crazy? Did this even exist? But like, there's assets out there, including some that I made myself. You know, based off, like, I take screenshots and like get rid of the backgrounds and everything. But there's assets out there, and also I saw Pippa posted it in like 2022, so I'm not entirely crazy. Actually, wait, maybe if Pippa posted it. It was kind of like a match 3 game, so it was pretty easy in that regard, and you'd use that to fight enemies and bosses, but the game itself, like, as the campaign went on, it got a little bit harder. So it actually started in 2018. The original developer was a Chinese developer named Hat for Love, and they were from Beijing. They made this game called spacegirl, which soon turned into spacegirl Fleet, and it was under the company Alex Incorporated, which was a Japanese company. A lot of attraction came to this title because of games like Concole and Azur Lane, so it kind of brought in its own audience from that. There was a press release from LX Inc. in May 2018, but they posted a Twitter post after that said that there would be a delay for at least a year. So in 2020 and 2021 finally, but under 2 different publishers, the game was released. So eisencloud released Puzzle Girls, and then in Southeast Asia, Hat for Love had beta tests for Starfleet Battle, and then which later turned into Space Girl Fleet. So when Starfleet Battle was discontinued in 2022, but a Japanese company, G123, the one that I played it on, they published the game as either Kantai Shoujo or Armada Girls, and this was for Chinese, English, and Japanese audiences. This game was cross-platform, as G123 makes cross-platform games. So of course people were confused about all the different, like, names and publications, but when contacted, it turns out that the IP was permitted for both eisencloud and G123 to use, so there was no issues with that. So as of April 2023, only Armada Girls was playable, and it had a good player base at the time, but it decreased very rapidly, and part of it, I presume, was because of the style change. It started with like a Bishoujo style, but then they turned it into an ecchi style game, which that company does have ecchi style games like Queen's Blade, which that would be more of where the audience was. And it definitely tanked during that time. And in July 2023, they had the 1-year anniversary, but something happened unannounced in February 2024. They randomly discontinued it. They didn't put out any announcements or notices, it was just gone. Like, suddenly you just couldn't play it anymore. I miss my Benito. I miss her so much. I actually really enjoyed this game. Like, it wasn't perfect, but I was really enjoying it. It was my favorite game by G123 along with Wixos, but I don't know, I hope Wixos stays okay. I haven't checked on it in a while. So for the actual game, what you would do is you would do the match game, and when you do certain power-ups on there, it would help you fight bosses and enemies. And you'd want to clear the stages or fight whatever enemies you're going against in PvP. You could even pet battleships in there. Like, you could literally pet them. The game itself had a ton of financial losses, so they actually started really good. So they had about 400,000 users registered, and they were making about a 200 million yen profit. Although year 2, they lost 360 million, which is a gigantic loss. And year 3, they recovered 9 million, but it was not enough to pay for the operation, so they just disappeared. They just vanished. And, like, I get it, because they were losing so much money, but, like, just an announcement. Just an announcement. Is that too much to do? But the losses were crazy. It was a losing battle for this game, and it's really sad because it had some concepts and love put into it that were just kind of, like, thrown away. But, you know, I get it. Big financial losses like that just do not work out. But one weird thing I noticed, because when the Armada Girls wiki was being made by a few fans, one of the most popular pages was Ryuho, which is a character in there, and I'm pretty sure G123 used that information to create some of the some of the creepiest ads I've seen in my life with like the worst anatomy. But I don't know, I think that was funny that they looked at that and went, ah, I know how to get the people in. Chances are, if you were a fan of Armada Girls, that's probably why you found this video if you weren't already following me, because maybe you also felt like this game was a fever dream. If you guys want to see more videos, just make sure to subscribe to see more. Sorry if this is different than my normal content, I just wanted to go over something that like I feel like nobody even knows existed, so I just wanted to get that out there. But thank you guys so much for watching, we'll see you in the next video. Bye!